Policy and supplemental appropriations bill. Senator Putnam.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair and members. Most of you who are paying attention, thank you very much.
Go ahead, Senator Putnam. Your comments are riveting, I'm sure, and we're all eagerly waiting.
Well, thank you again, Mr. Chair, for this opportunity to talk about the Finance Omnibus for the Senate Committee on Agriculture. This bill has a number of provisions, all of which address real problems facing real Minnesotans. We're going to help with food insecurity, with jobs and workforce, and with the specific challenges that face our farmers throughout the state of Minnesota. Now, one example of our work on food insecurity in this bill is a provision that will enable eggs past their quality assurance date to be donated to food shelves. These are actual good eggs, not metaphorical ones in a Bertie Wooster kind of way. These are legitimate good eggs. And they are plenty fine, but they get destroyed because they can't be sold any longer. All we're doing is letting folks take perfectly good eggs to food shelves to make sure that people can be fed. And we know the crisis in food insecurity throughout our state right now. Now, all across Minnesota, but especially in greater Minnesota, we have a severe crisis facing us with trying to get people to work in meat cutting. Our small businesses are desperate for help. With the change we make in the Train and Retain program, we will be able to continue spending already appropriated resources to train people to be successful and to staff our small businesses. And last, the cost of the value of agricultural land has skyrocketed in recent years. In this bill, we fix the down payment assistance program that helps beginning farmers purchase land. We create some new rules to make sure that folks are ready to farm, and we change some dates to make sure that the resources we allocated will go where they need to go and get help to farmers who need help farming. Now, Mr. Chair, those are just three simple examples of the larger theme that is this bill. Obviously, there's more provisions in it. I'm eager to discuss those with you. But at core, this bill addresses those three issues: our food challenges, challenges with workforce and the agricultural economy, and those specific concerns that face farmers throughout the state. We will make food more affordable and accessible, we'll help people get jobs, and we'll respect farmers and grow the agricultural economy. Mr. Chair and members, this is a good bill, and I look forward to talking about it with you.
Is there a discussion about the bill? And I understand there's two technical wording change amendments that you had?
I believe so, Mr. Chair. I have one, Mr. Chair.
Senator Draham?
Thank you, Chair. I have the other amendment, okay. The A16. Can I offer that right now?
What we put on A15 first, okay. Which is his technical amendment. I knew there were. Okay, Senator Friends offers the A15 amendment, and Ms. Painter, Mr. Olofsson want to speak to it? It's just a technical change of what?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, there's basically two changes in the technical amendment. The first one just adds the board of directors to the appropriation that's going to AURI. The second amendment deletes the section for the Dairy with an I program, which has already been enacted this session.
Is there any discussion on the A15 amendment? If not, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, motion prevails. Senator Draham, you said you have the A16, which is in the packets?
Yes, thank you, Chair and members. Senator Putnam, thanks for your work this year in your committee. This just changes the reporting from every other year to, from every other year to annually. And I think it's important to have the data when we're working on it, and if we wait every other year, sometimes that might miss the window for us to make a decision. But it's totally up to you. If the chair, Putnam, doesn't like it, I'll withdraw it. I just think it's good governance. That's why I'm offering it. So thank you, members.
Senator Putnam on the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And it's with some deep emotion I reflect on this, knowing that you're retiring, and when you're gone, who else is going to say the word report all the time? So I think as a parting gift to Senator Draham, and also because it's reasonable good governance, I will accept this as a friendly amendment from a friend.
Senator Draham moves the A16 amendment. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, motion prevails. So maybe we could call the odd numbered year the Draham report. Is there further discussion on Senate File 5073? Senator Friends.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Senator Putnam, for just another excellent job in agriculture. I have a concern about the Paraquat report. I do not really want to ban it, even though I know a lot of good legislators are interested in that. Can you just say a little bit more about the Paraquat reporting in the bill for those of us that might be a little underinformed on that topic? And I know Senator Johnson, Senator Kupek have districts where that's a little bit more relevant in sugar beet production. Just the briefest.
Sure.
Senator Putnam.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Senator Friends. This, as we all know here, is a pretty complicated and controversial issue this session. More so than I think it ought to be. In some ways, I think it's not that complicated, but it's become that way. There are still a lot of unknowns around Paraquat and its distribution in the state. One of the challenging themes in the conversation is, does anybody actually even use it here? And I think that a report like this would help us understand a little bit better where exactly the stuff is and how it's used. You know, we're hearing a lot about how it's been banned in all these other states and all these other countries. Well, those bans are not for public health, by and large. So we think, I think we need to have a moment to sort of take a breath and think about the issue and understand its complexity. All of that being said, we know it's a horrible chemical. We know that most people in Minnesota just don't use it. So I think a little bit more clarity on the issue would be something that I would not find objectionable.
Senator Friends.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Senator Putnam. That's kind of what I'm feeling, is that let's take a look here. As I understand, no other state has banned it on public health grounds. Is that am I right?
Mr. Chair, Senator Friends, I believe Vermont is in the act of doing so right now. We're not quite sure. But we know that in Europe, apparently, a lot of the states and countries in Europe banned it because it was being used in self-harm, not because it was being used in agriculture. And we know that when China banned it, it was largely part of China's trade policy. We do not look to China as an exemplar of our environmental considerations or desires for public health. So that's not what that was about. But that doesn't mean that the stuff isn't toxic. It isn't awful, and we shouldn't have a bit of light shined on it to think about it.
Thank you, Senator Putnam. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. And Senator Putnam, the Farmer Labor Mediation Program, you will continue to fund it. This bill removes the sunset on it for now.
Yes, Mr. Chair, which is an incredibly important initiative here. As I said earlier when I presented the bill, there's lots of other good stuff in here. I just wanted to highlight some top-level themes with some specific policies. But farmer labor mediation is one of the most important things that we can do for agriculture these days. We've got a lot of farmers in tremendous economic stress. And it's better when people sit down and talk about their debt rather than when they're forced into bankruptcy. Right now, we have taken off the sunset. In a perfect world, we'd be able to have resources to expand that office. At this point, however, I'm convinced that we don't have those resources. But it is something that requires and deserves that level of investment.
Thank you. Senator Friends moves the Senate File 5073 as amended be recommended to pass. On that motion, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion prevails. So Putnam, you got a good egg there.
Thanks.
With that, this committee will be adjourning for the day. Tomorrow, we do have the program integrity bill, and I know it's Friday, and we're going to have it remote for people who wish to be remote. And next week, we may have, next week we have pensions and e-bikes apparently on the agenda. Senator Pratt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And the program integrity is the version posted online, the final version?
Senator Pratt, no. Apparently, what we have was, there was an informal meeting of several committees, so they couldn't act formally on it, and so they offered amendments, and apparently, whoever has the amendments, they're getting engrossed into it, but what we have online is what they had going into it, and the amendments that they informally adopted on Monday are the ones that would be offered here by the author of the bill. Sir Pratt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And then, I just think for the public and for all the legislators, just getting it a few hours before the hearing really isn't a fair way to do it. And then I also saw that there's a hold on for Monday. And can you explain what we're planning to do that day?
We may be taking up the pensions bill on Monday.
Mr. Chair, I just might offer, we could probably do both on Monday and avoid a Friday hearing and allow the public to see what's going to be happening in the program integrity bill.
Thank you. And part of the trouble is the reviser needed the time for getting that bill together, which is apparently why we don't have the language, and then they need the time after we get the bill passed out of here to get the bill prepared for the floor. So that's the reason I was given for doing it on Friday instead of Monday. And with that, this committee's adjourned.